Good morning, guys. This morning I want to share the book of Exodus. I'm going to read from chapter 14, verses 24 through 28. At the morning watch, the Lord looked down on the army of the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and cloud and brought the army of the Egyptians into confusion. He caused their chariot wheels to swerve, and he made them drive with difficulty. So the Egyptians said, "Let us flee from Israel, for the Lord is fighting for them against the Egyptians." Then the Lord said to Moses, "Stretch out your hand over the sea, so that the waters may come back over the Egyptians, over their chariots and their horsemen." So Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the sea returned to its normal state at daybreak, while the Egyptians were fleeing right into it. Then the Lord overthrew the Egyptians in the midst of the sea. The waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen, even Pharaoh's entire army that had gone into the sea after them. Not even one of them remained. So, classic story of the Exodus. One of the most dramatic incidences where by night the Egyptians have caught up to the Israels, like camp. And of course God put the pillar of cloud and fire in between the Egyptians and the Israelites to protect them. And God had told Moses to stretch out his hand, and then the Lord, with a strong east wind, he parted the sea. And throughout the night, the Israelites crossed the Red Sea. Now, at daybreak, the Egyptians pursued them, and now they're in the middle of the Red Sea. But here's the thing that gets me. So as they are driving their chariots through, these experienced horsemen and charioteers, Pharaoh's very best, can control their chariots. They were swerving everywhere, and at that point, the Egyptian army, Pharaoh's army, realized that God was actually causing this to happen to them because God was fighting for the Israelites. They realized it, and they actually wanted to flee away from the Israelites. So when I read this, I see the Egyptian army trying to turn around and go back to the other way. And of course, the Lord had Moses stretch his hand out again to close the Red Sea. And from what I'm reading and from what I'm seeing as I read, is that the Egyptians are actually riding into the sea as it's closing back up on them. I've seen movies, many movies about Exodus where, to me, they get this wrong. It shows an army that is going forward but never turning back. Where here, clearly the Egyptians realized, of course, much too late, that they're, pardon the pun, in over their head, and that they were not going to win this at all. They decided too late to turn around and go back. I mean, so we can relate this to us today, the Egyptians. At one point, are there things that we do or things that we see people do that they realize too late that we need to turn around and go the other direction before something, bad happens to us? Of course, it doesn't have to be as severe as total death and annihilation. But we need to think about our actions and about what we do, even what we say. Because there may be a point to where we realize what we're doing is not good, is wrong, and we need to turn around from it. But will it be in time before something catastrophic or bad happens? I'm not saying that we won't ever be forgiven of it. All we have to do is ask and repent, and we will. That's not what I'm saying. As a Christian, we have that freedom, we have that ability, but sin has consequences. And in our stubbornness, our defiance to God has consequences. And for Pharaoh, it was him and his entire army. Guess you could say this is a lesson of picking your battles, and you just need to make sure you pick your battles to where it's not too late, and that something devastating can be avoided. Because for Pharaoh, he lost it all. He lost everything, even his own life. And the Egyptian soldiers realized themselves that they were in a battle that they could not win. And according to the Bible, they turned to flee. And they fled right into the closing sea. They didn't keep going forward after the Israelites like all these movies that you see. They actually realized and acknowledged that God was fighting for them. And because that God was fighting for the Israelites, they realized too late they had no chance and tried to run away. But instead, they ran right into the sea, and all of them drowned. Don't be like the Egyptians. And I'm saying this to myself too. Don't be to the point to where you are doing something or get yourself in a situation to where you shouldn't be in, and then decide too late that you've made a mistake. Because in the end, there's going to be consequences. So, anyways, that's what God gave to me today. Kind of sobering. We just need to be awake, be aware, and make sure we don't go to the point of no return, so to speak. So, love you guys. God bless y'all, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.